Hey, fishing friends. I wanted to take a minute to show you some of the new advanced editing features that we've added to GotOne in version 1.3, which is available for iOS on the App Store or for Android on Google Play. Before I show you that, though, I also wanted to show you that you now have the ability to change the order of the species as they appear in the app species selection list. So maybe you're an angler from South Florida and you focus on tarpon and bonefish. Well, you can simply drag those species up to the top of your list, and when you hit the OK check mark in the upper right corner, those two fish will appear in your species list first. You'll also notice the microphone icon on the home page of the app. This is covered in another video, but we've now added the ability to log fish through voice commands rather than through tapping, which is super helpful if you're on a boat or you're wading in the water and your fingers are covered in salt water and you don't want to touch your screen. It makes it really easy to enter catches without having to touch your device. Let's go ahead and look at some of the advanced editing features now. I'm going to select this striped bass here that I caught 7 a.m. This past Sunday. In your log entry page, you'll now see a pencil icon in the upper right of the application window. If I tap that pencil, you now have the ability to edit not only the species and the length, but you'll see that we've now put a series of additional data fields associated with your catch in tabs along the top of your window here. So for instance, I can go ahead and change the date and the time of my catch. Let's say I caught it a couple days previously and it was in the evening. I can also, as I mentioned, change the location of the catch, which is critical in case you forgot to log your fish at the right location. You can simply use the map screen down here, tap and hold on the red map pin, and drag it to where you actually caught the fish. And you can pinch and zoom the map to make fine-tune adjustments to where you want to place that pin. You'll see along the top here, we've also added the ability to specify and correct the specific environmental conditions related to your catch. So as you know, GotOne draws environmental data from a number of different sources, including NOAA weather buoys, from satellite data, but sometimes you may have a specific measurement that you think is more accurate than what we can provide by way of our APIs. So you now have the ability to specify those directly into the application itself, and it will record it with your catch data. Under details, you can now specify things like what was the result of your catch? Did you release the fish or did you keep it? What part of the water column did you catch the fish in? And what did you use to catch the fish? We also have added a feature that many of you have asked for, which is the ability to type specific notes about your catch in this little field here, which then gets associated with your catch data. We're also excited to announce that GotOne is partnering with scientific and research groups to support specific fisheries research projects. You can see more in another video on our YouTube channel about how we're supporting the Massachusetts Division of Marine Fisheries on their study of striped bass catch and release mortality. Because I'm a participant in this study, I have an additional tab in my log entry screen. If I tap this, I can enter data that is associated with the MassDMF striped bass study. And we'll be adding additional studies over time, which you can enroll in. Just check back with us for more information in the future. Once you're done with your advanced edits, just tap the check mark in the upper right corner to confirm them. And you'll see that GotOne goes back and pulls the environmental data back from the cloud to update your entry. And now if I go back to that entry, you'll see that the fish appears to have been caught where I modified it, right at Montauk Point. And instead of the fish being caught in a north-northeast 7-mile-per-hour wind, it was a south 9-mile-per-hour wind on a high tide rather than the low outgoing, and the moon is now a waning gibbous at 97% instead of a waning gibbous at 73%. All of those changes were made due to the change in the location and the date and time that I made in the edit screen. And that's it. This advanced editing functionality allows you to fine-tune and edit your log entries, but also it means that you can essentially create new entries after the fact when you get back to the dock, or days later if you forgot to log a fish, or even create entries for fish you caught in previous seasons. Just create the entry whenever and wherever you happen to be, adjust the time, the date, and the location, and GotOne takes care of the rest. Tight lines, everyone.